at Anime Florida here at the Broward County Convention Center or Fort Lauderdale County Convention Center. Look at this. I've got indie wrestler Aron Agony. Yes, Aron, there we go. I want to ask Aron because he was trained in the group that was trained by Rusty Brooks, legendary Rusty Brooks. So first thing I'm going to ask you is, how did you get started? How did you find Rusty Brooks and the training facility?
Well, honestly, when I first wanted to start training as a wrestler, it didn't become a matter of where or if, it was a matter of how much, you know? So, but every place that I looked for was like, you know, thousands of dollars down, and I'm just turned 18, you know? So I looked online for something cost efficient. I wasn't expecting to be dirt cheap, but I couldn't afford as a kid, you know, this glorious, you know, upbringing, and thankfully Rusty had something that was affordable, you know, and I found him through actually I found him through ICW's website because they were like the closest thing to me locally, like wrestling wise, and when I contacted them, I just said, hey, you know, I want to just check it out and see what it's like, and he was like, come by whenever. Like, these are the days we train. If you want to do it, you can keep doing it. So I ended up actually having family 2 exits away from where Rusty had his school and stuff. So it just so happened to be a great coincidence. And after I checked out the school, I relocated. I moved in with my grandfather and my brother, and thankfully they were around to do so because I lived all the way in Homestead, so I would have to drive like an hour to train every day. And then at the time, J-Dog and J-Dog Brooks and Flex Magnum were heavily involved also in the training process. And at first, honestly, when I started training, I mean, I completely relocated to train at the school, and there was a handful of students, maybe I want to say 6 to 10 students at the time, and then when we started really picking up, we started getting more guys to come, like more local indie guys who had already been trained. Because of that building up, we started getting more guys who wanted to learn how to train, and then at some points we had 20 guys in a line waiting to get in the ring, to get some ring time, and then we went from training 2 days a week to training 4 days a week because we had so many guys that wanted to learn and so many guys who wanted just a spot to train. So we kind of mixed a little bit of both, and we had, you know, the younger guys working with the guys who have been around a little bit longer. So that's kind of how I got involved and I first started, which I'm super thankful because without that I wouldn't be where I'm at today. And so yeah, Rusty was a great experience training with him and at his school.
What was it like working with Rusty, the knowledge, and just all that he had to offer?
Well, when I started, Rusty's health was beginning to get a little worse, and then it picked up a little better. So, like I said, J-Dog Brooks and Flex were more physically and would get in the ring and teach us the moves and show us how to do stuff. But Rusty was always there as, you know, he would always overwatch everything. He was always there to critique, and trust me, he always spoke his mind, which he's very good at doing. I'm sure if you know Rusty, you know that. But yeah, and he was always there to tell us what looked good and what looked bad and what we needed to improve on. And the one thing he really did work with us on was psychology and mic skills. He was always the guy, we had the camera rolling, and he was always the guy behind it telling us, okay, that looked like crap, let's do it again. And he would make us do it. There were practices we would show up and do nothing but promos, and we would do nothing but psychology work, which was awesome because, in my opinion, that's something that I still with me every single day. I use the stuff that Rusty taught me, and Flex and J-Dog also taught me. So.
And Aron, what is it like that there is someone like a Rusty Brooks here in South Florida?
I mean, honestly, like, I don't even have words to describe, because you have someone who's been around the business so many more years than me and probably a handful of the guys he's trained combined, but someone who's seen it all. You know, you have where wrestling kind of had his heydays in Hulk Hogan, and he was there, and then he was been around long enough to see it evolve to what it is today. So I mean, one thing that I love is, you know, you would hit somebody and Rusty would be like, like, oh crap, that was awesome. And we have a guy that's been around that long, and you make a believer out of him, then it's like, wow, like, you know, it's a good confidence booster. And it's also good to have someone who instills the old school psychology, because there was definitely a lot of old school psychology instilled in us, but also someone who could apply it to the new school way we would work. I mean, like I said, even though he couldn't get in the ring with us, he still knew when a bad high spot was a bad high spot. You know, regardless of whether or not he could do it himself, he would tell you whether or not it looked good or not. So, yeah, I mean, having him around helped tenfolds with me personally.
All right, Aaron, thank you much. Do you have any social media?
No problem.
For fans?
Yeah, Instagram at The Agony, Facebook Aaron McCoy. I go by my real name, but it's a fan page too, so you can add me on that. I don't use Twitter, so don't bother looking. If you see one, it's probably fake. Yeah, that's it. Just wanted to say, Rusty, thank you personally. You, like I said, I mean, you've helped my career to the max. There's people I can count on my hand who have really helped me in this business, and Rusty's at the top of the list. So thank you, Rusty.